Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Math with Mr. Emond. Today we are going to be continuing on in our unit on systems of equations. We're still solving them algebraically, but this time we're actually going to be looking at modeling situations. And so these are going to be our word problems. So let's go ahead and try this one. A Canadian cargo plane drops a crate of emergency supplies to aid workers on the ground. The crate drops freely at first before a parachute opens to bring the crate gently to the ground. The crate's height, h, in meters above the ground, t seconds after leaving the aircraft, is given by the following two equations. So we have these two equations here. This first equation represents the height of the crate during free fall, and the second equation represents the height of the crate with the parachute open. And so we're going to be trying to solve for the point of intersection. Now we can do this. We have a few methods to do this now. Elimination or substitution. I'm just going to move these down to give us a little bit of room to work. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these two problems here and determine which method is going to be best. Should I use elimination or should I use substitution? Now I can see if I do elimination, then this h is going to cancel out. And I'm going to have some numbers here. That looks relatively easy. I could substitute this in here, and then have this equal to that, and then solve. And I'm hoping after contemplating the two, I think elimination is easier. So we have h equals negative 4.9 t squared, and I'm going to add the plus 0t plus 700. So I wanted to put that in so that they line up, because I remember from the last lesson how to do this. And here I don't have a t squared, so it's 0t squared minus 5t plus 650. So I remembered from the last lesson, I kind of want my variables to line up. Now I can use elimination, so I'm going to subtract them. So h minus h is 0. Negative 4.9 minus 0 is still just negative 4.9 t squared. 0 minus negative 5 is plus 5t. And then 700 minus 650 is positive 50. All right. So this doesn't look like it's going to be all that fun to factor because of this decimal place in the a value. It also doesn't look like it'd be that fun to complete the square. So I'm just going to use the quadratic formula. I'm going to skip right to that. So let's do that over here. We want negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's 5 squared, minus 4a, which is negative 4.9, c, which is 50. And this is all over 2 times a, so negative 4.9. Now I'm going to go ahead and type in this part into my calculator. So I want to know what is 5 squared minus 4 times negative 4.9 times 50. And it's 1,005. So I just wanted to do that first. So we have negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 1,005 over 2 times negative 4.9 is negative 9.8. All right. And now we can kind of, simplify as much as we can here. So we're going to have the square root. Let's just do it. So we're going to do negative 5 plus the square root of 1,005. And that we're going to divide by negative 9.8. And that's going to be that. So we have one value, and we're actually solving for t right now. So we have one value where t is equal to negative 2.72467. And let's solve for this other one. So we're going to have the exact same thing, but it's a minus. So I can just copy paste, switch this to a minus. There we go. 3.74507. All right. Now t represents time. So I know that this, it's not going to be a solution. I can't have negative time. So it's going to have to be this one. Let's go ahead and plug that into our line to find what the corresponding y value is, or in this case, the h value. So h is equal to negative 5 times our time plus 650. Let's plug that in our calculator to find the h value. So I'm just going to preemptively copy paste this. There we go. Now we're doing negative 5 times our answer, and then plus 650 is that. So 631.275. So our point is going to be let's round to 2 decimal places. Express your answer to the nearest hundredth. So round to 2 decimal places. So 3.75 and 631.28. Okay, so there's our point. How long after the crate leaves the aircraft does the parachute open? Well, that would be at 3.75 seconds. So my answer, 3.75 seconds. What height above the ground is the crate when the parachute opens? Well, that would be my y value. So the parachute's going to open 631.28 meters above the ground. And verify our solution. So let's verify this. Let's go ahead and graph it. So negative 4.9 x squared plus 700. Okay. And then we're going to want our second function, which is negative 5x plus 650. All right. And of course, it doesn't look like we can see them. We're just going to zoom out. And I can see there, it's way up here. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to zoom back in. All right, so there's my points of intersection. Analyze graph intersection. Let's find this first one. Negative 2.72 and 664. So this is the one I discounted, right? And we can see the x value there, negative 2.72. But our time can't be negative. So let's find this other one. Analyze graph intersection. Let's find this one. Positive 3.75 and 631, which is what we found. So there we go. We verified our solution. It's your turn. So you're modeling a situation just like I did. Your question is, a certain website offers online interactive puzzles, but the puzzle makers present the following problem for entry into their site. Determine 2 integers. Remember what an integer is. An integer is a whole number, such that the sum of the smaller number and twice the larger number is 46. So that's your first equation. You're going to have to convert that from words into an equation. Also, when the square of the smaller number is decreased by 3 times the larger, the result is 93. And so that's your second equation. Again, convert the words into an equation. By determining the smaller and larger numbers, which means you're going to have to solve for the point of intersections. So you're going to solve for your 1 or 2 or 0 or however many solutions there are for this. And you do that using substitution or elimination. You can use that as a password to gain access to the site. Okay, So there you go. You have a little bit of an idea of what you need to do here. Set up your two equations, solve for the intersections. When you're done, come back and check your answer. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at the solution. So what I did is I set x to be the smaller number and y to be the larger number. You could have done it the other way. And then I set up my two equations. X plus 2y equals 46. So the sum of the smaller number and twice the larger number. Twice the larger number would be 2 times y. And I need to sum them together. So add them together. And that's going to be equal to 46. Ignore this other stuff for now. Then when the square of the smaller number, so the smaller number is x, so the square of the smaller number is decreased, so minus, by 3 times the larger, so 3y. That result is 93. So there you go. All right. Now I know I need to solve. I've already looked at this and established in my head that the easiest way to solve is through elimination. However, I face a problem. My y values have different coefficients, right? This has a coefficient of 2 and this has a coefficient of 3. I need them to be the same. And so that's why I'm multiplying this by 3 and this by 2, because 2 times 3 will give me 6 and 3 times 2 will give me 6. And then I'm going to arrange them so that they're aligned, right? And I'm going to just add some things in here, just so we're on the same page, so you know what I did. This is 0x squared, and this is plus 0x. Okay, so I've aligned them, okay? Now what I can do is I can add them together. Why add? Because 6 plus negative 6, that will give me the 0y. I don't want to subtract. That would give me not a 0y. And so there we go. 0 plus 2x squared is 2x squared. 3 plus 0x is 3x. And 6 plus negative 6 is 0y. And then I have 138 plus 186 is 324. Okay, now I need to move this over to this side so that I can set it equal to 0. And that's what I did in this step here. I set it equal to 0. Why? Because that's what quadratic equations look like. Then I looked at that and I went, can I factor that in my head? No. Can I complete the square for that? Maybe. But that doesn't look very fun. So I immediately defaulted to the quadratic equation. And if you tried to complete the square or factor that and you managed to succeed, then kudos to you. On a quiz, I will need you to show your work, so you can't just plug it into your calculator and voila, you have a solution. You have to show me how you did it algebraically. So quadratic formula, it works all the time. I just did that, right? So you simplify some more, and you get x equals negative 13 and x equals 12. Negative 13.5. Now, I made a mistake here, but I'm going to show you my mistake. So then what I did is I plugged in my x values into my simple equation, which was the line x plus 2y equals 46. And for the first one, I found y equals 29.8. So there you go, point 1, negative 13.5 and 29.8. And then I realized, what am I doing? Didn't the question tell me that it had to be an integer? It did. Determine 2 integers right here. Determine 2 integers. Well, 13.5 is not an integer. It's not a whole number. So I should have, right when I saw this, went, oh, I don't even need to do that anymore because it's not an integer. But I, being the silly goose I am, did it anyways and wasted my time. Hopefully you didn't. I, of course, then did it for the next one and found y equals 17. So there is my part 2. And it was at this point that I remembered about integers and then wrote, not an integer, so that's not a solution, and I only boxed that one. But I could have saved myself a little bit of time. So there you go. That is modeling equations. See you next time for the next lesson. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching, everybody. You can like, follow, and subscribe to my social medias to get notifications as soon as new content is uploaded. In the top corner here, you will find the playlist that this video is in. Watch the unit from beginning to end, and over here, you will find the next video in this unit. Keep learning, everybody. Take care.